If you've been diagnosed with early cataracts, or if you'd like to just never be diagnosed with vision-changing cataracts, then this video should help you a lot. I'm going to tell you 5 tips that theoretically should slash your risk of ever developing severe cataracts. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with 20 years of clinical practice. The most common advice you're going to receive from an optometrist or an ophthalmologist or your family doctor about preventing cataracts is to protect your eyes from ultraviolet radiation from the sun at all times. Wear dark UV blocking sunglasses and a wide-brimmed hat anytime you're out in the sun. There's 2 problems with this. First of all, eyeballs have been exposed to sunlight for many millions of years. So it's weird now that all of a sudden sunlight hurts your eyes, hurts your lens. Secondly, no controlled research has ever proven this link between sun exposure and cataract formation in the lens of your eye. So it's never been proven. So it's an association, but could there be something deeper, a root cause that you could actually work on so that you can avoid cataracts? The lens of your eye does not have any blood vessels feeding it whatsoever. Also, the cells in your lens don't have a nucleus, and they also don't have mitochondria. So the cells of your lens are completely dependent on diffusion through the aqueous humor. That's the liquid inside your eyeball. That's how it gets all of its nutrition, and that's how it gets rid of all of its wastes. Now, there are 4 basic principles that we pretty much know physiologically that this is what leads to cataract formation. So anything that you can do to prevent these 4 things from happening are going to decrease your risk of having cataracts, or at least of having severe vision-limiting cataracts. So here are the 4 ways that we know that lens cells in your eye can be damaged. First and foremost, anything that changes the shape of the lens proteins, the proteins inside your lens that it's made up of, and this can include a direct dose of strong radiation, including microwaves, or trauma to the lens itself. These things obviously, either through mechanical, chemical, or radiation means, can change the shape of the protein molecules inside your lens and thus cause the lens to be opaque so that light doesn't travel in and out as easily. Number 2, anything that oxidizes these same proteins in your lens will tend to make the lens cloudy and decrease your vision. Number 3, anything that glycates the lens of your eye will also make it cloudy, and you won't be able to see as well, and you'll start to form cataracts. And then fourthly, there looks like there's a slight genetic component, meaning, in other words, some people just have genetically weaker lenses, and they're more susceptible perhaps to these 3 things I just named as 1, 2, and 3. But we know that there is a genetic component. Also, some people with certain genetic chromosomal disease like Downs and Alport's are much more likely to develop cataracts. Now, another thing that you really need to know, and it's going to make sense when I tell you the 5 tips, is that people with diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and hypertension are much, much more likely to develop cataracts. Now, I don't think that having diabetes causes the cataracts. High blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, they don't cause the cataract. But the same underlying root causes that lead to type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and metabolic syndrome also cause the clouding of your lens that leads to cataracts. Ophthalmological researchers are actually working with a drop, doing research, and it seems to help. It's called N-acetylcarnosine. And the way it seems to work is by reversing or decreasing oxidation and glycation in the cells of your lens. So you see, we're trying to make a medicine that will decrease oxidation and glycation in your lens. What if we could just prevent or decrease the oxidation and glycation in the first place? Then you wouldn't need the drops, and you would hopefully never need the cataract surgery. Here are the 5 tips that could potentially reduce your risk of developing vision-limiting cataracts by 80 to 90%. Number 1, stop smoking. Pretty darn good research shows that smokers have a double up to a triple the risk of developing cataracts than non-smokers. And this probably works because smoking oxidizes every cell in your body, including the cells in the lens of your eye. Number 2, try to avoid corticosteroids as much as you possibly can. Definitely corticosteroids by mouth, but also even inhaled steroids seem to have the same effect on the lens of your eye. So if you have to take a steroid for some medical purpose, please ask your doctor. Talk with your doctor about limiting the corticosteroid to the shortest amount of treatment time possible. Number 3, you need to eliminate all added sugar from your diet. And this includes sugar that was added by you or by your mama or by the factory that made the pseudo food that you're about to ingest that has added sugar. Never drink added sugar, never eat added sugar. And this goes directly to the glycation. Anytime that you eat or drink enough sugar to raise your blood sugar level, you're glycating every tissue and every cell in your body, including the cells in the lens of your eye. You don't want to glycate any of your cells any more than they should be. So eat a low sugar, sugar-free enough diet to keep your blood sugar levels normal, and this should greatly reduce your risk of ever developing cataracts. Number 3 is to eliminate all grains and all starchy vegetables from your diet. When you chew up grains and swallow them, they turn immediately into sugar. Starchy vegetables have lots of starch. Starch is just lots of sugar molecules holding hands. As soon as you start to chew up any bread or anything made out of grains or any starchy vegetable, they immediately start to turn into sugar. So eating lots of grains and lots of starchy vegetables and lots of fruits, even though you're not eating any added sugar, it still has the potential to raise your blood sugar and increase the glycation of all your cells, including the cells inside your lens. Number 4, you need to eliminate all of the vegetable oils from your diet. Canola, soybean, peanut, sunflower, all those need to go. You need to eliminate all the margarine and all the vegetable shortening from your diet. They are very, very foreign to human physiology. We've only been eating them for a few decades. You need to eat instead the ancestral fats that we've been eating for millions of years. The reason for this is that these vegetable oils are very oxidizing. They inappropriately oxidize every cell in your body, including the cells in the lens of your eye. Now, if you've already been diagnosed with mild to moderate cataracts, you may be asking, well, if I make all these changes, is it possible that I could stop the progression or even reverse my cataract and improve it? That's possible. There's no research showing that yet, but it makes perfect sense that if you stop all the sources of oxidation and all the sources of unneeded and unnecessary glycation, that you may very well, almost assuredly, slow down or stop the progression of a cataract, but you might even be able to reverse it to some extent. And a final tip is to avoid alcohol as much as you can. There's some limited research that shows that there might be an association between drinking too much alcohol and cataract progression. Why take a chance? Alcohol is a known toxin to every cell in your body, so it's probably true that it's a toxin to the cells in the lens of your eye as well. If you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, please ask them in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Also, in the show notes down below, I included a lot of relevant research about the things I talked about so that you can do further reading and research on your own if you have a mind to do that. This is Dr. Barry. I'll see you next time.